the same thing. Now what can we do together? And I think that's where kind of one of the pieces is that we're in right now. And I think that we don't know. We don't know how people in a cohesive co-working environment that hang out with each other and help each other on business consulting and help each other at, you know, whatever it is in life. We don't know how to step out of that community and then step into the bigger, greater community. And I think that's where the challenge is.
But that kind of relationship, being able to sort of define work on your terms and do it your way, is that not something that's just for the few people who are really capable of popping out of the matrix and sort of going it on their own? Is it only going to be for the few people who can figure that out for themselves, or is that changing? This is for everybody.
Well, I think it's changing, but it's not for everybody. And the early adopters are the ones that have really, you know, taken the leap. But I think what's important is for us to create mentors, so that if Chris has, you know, which I think is part of what your business is, you know, I know how to do this, so let me teach other people how to do that. And we see that developing, where there's people that say, here's how I did it, and here's what worked. And you could actually, you know, in my mind, you could actually create a retirement process out of that, where, you know, I could become a mentor over the next, you know, several years of what I want to work at, and have some mentees that I'm teaching how to do it, and kind of get a piece of that. Well, that could be the new retirement, solve our $1 trillion of deficits.
One of the problems, I think, with the mentor method, though, is that you're focused on growing the strengths even more inside the community. And I think oftentimes, like, there's this company that launched in Austin called Our School, where basically it empowers anyone to be able to teach on any topic that they're pretty good at. And so I think that one of the things within co-working communities is that everyone within a co-working community is pretty good at something. And so I think that, yeah, we can spend our time mentoring each other and getting even better at this thing that we're 80% good at, get to that 90%, or we could take those skills and talents and we could turn them inside out and actually be a part of our civic, you know, like society. And I'm not trying to steer the conversation there, but I think that if we're talking about thinking big and thinking about making a difference, like, we got to stop looking at our internal communities and more so be like, wow, we have a strong internal community. What can we do together?
Well, and you brought up earlier the awareness, right? That the fact that, you know, a lot of people just haven't been exposed to the opportunities, to the possibilities of, you know, working in different ways that maybe we haven't seen when we were growing up. Right? And so that's actually, I think, an important thing, is recognizing that the communities we have aren't just for each other, but that they have a larger effect on the bigger picture of things.
Because if you think about it, the community wouldn't have even been built unless the system kind of arranged itself in a way that people no longer felt a part of the system. So they worked from home, felt lonely, worked from coffee shops, felt lonely, and then the system drove them in to the co-working space, which then made everyone healthy again. And now we step back into the system, and then it's a revolving cycle. A revolving cycle of health if we step back in.
I'd like to jump in on that. You know, I think a very important feature is, how do we fit into the ecosystem? So really the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Now, I'm involved in Launch Chapel Hill, which is a business accelerator and co-working space in Chapel Hill. And the town, the county, the university, and private individuals banded together to put this together. And it gave us a runway, which means that we could experiment a little bit on trying to add some of these other features. Because it's about building that community to build that brand, which I said earlier. So some of the things we're doing beyond your typical mentoring, as well as we do a Street Smart training series on, like, really practical stuff, like how to get a brochure done, how to get things designed, real stuff that people need to know. But we also have added some other features. We're a university town, so professors at the B School that want to try a new methodology in, say, in customer development, they come to the incubator, they pitch the idea. Some of our guys may use it or not. There's a feedback loop to that. The second thing is we open up our Rolodex to the entire community, in Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, and really try to share that with members. The third thing we do is we've got interns from Carolina, which costs nothing because they volunteer their time. And that's a very potent weapon there. And everybody's got a university around them to do that. The final bit is that we have MBA SWAT teams that come in and work on very specific project-related stuff. Now, all four of these things that I described cost nothing, okay? They're volunteer time. Unfortunately, either yourself or someone on your staff has to help put together that program to help your members take it to the next level so you get that community, so you can build that brand. So I really am feeling what you're saying about outreach to the community to create this overall entrepreneurial ecosystem.
So we're talking entrepreneurship, we're talking contractors, we're talking jobs. How is the relationship between these changing? Is it blurring in some ways? I mean, Gene, you've got folks who technically are working for themselves.
Yeah, I think entrepreneurship is different than independent worker. To me, entrepreneurship is someone that is, made a conscious decision or has, the resources to want to go take a risk and build a business that probably has some investment. There's another whole market and community of independent workers that have decided that I just want to do what I love to do, and I want to focus on that. Maybe I'll get a few people together and do a project at one point, but I'm not really looking at building an employer-based business. We found through the research that Steve did, wherever Steve is.
Yeah, just for reference, and I'll let you finish your point. Who's familiar with the Independent Workforce Index? It's been coming out for the last couple of years.
It's a cool index.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. So it's an awesome report that that Gene's company, MBO, contracts